Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Monday, March 3rd, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, 5 bodies discovered in southern Quintana Roo, 2 are Belizean. Benke dog killed by police, was it justified? And suspected drug plane lands and burns in southern Belize. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
by the Elections and Boundaries Department.
Media in Chetumal and Kintanaroo on Saturday reported the discovery after 3 a.m. of 5 bodies that were discarded at a bus stop in the community of Saksan near the banks of the Rio Hondo in Kintanaroo. The community of just over 1,000 inhabitants is about an hour's drive from Bacalar. The bodies showed signs of torture, were blindfolded, their hands and feet were bound, and they had gunshot wounds on their heads. Also found at the scene was a male survivor who reported having been kidnapped on Wednesday. A message in Spanish on a cardboard left on top of one of the bodies was directed to members of a criminal gang. Notably, 4 homes were torched overnight in the same Saksan community, and Mexican authorities are said to be working to determine if the killings and house fires are related. The Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, told the media that Belize police have confirmed that 2 of the 5 men found dead in Chetumal are Belizeans. They were wanted by the Belize Police Department. Williams said one more from the group, Joshua Hall, is still being sought by police. Williams also discussed whether this incident was related to Raheem Usher's murder, whose body was found near San Antonio Orange Walk last week.
The Mexican police in Chetumal came across 5 bodies, and among those bodies were 2 Belizeans from the Corozal district. Again, we continue to collaborate with our Mexican counterparts to see what information can be obtained, but certainly we do believe that, again, based on information, that the incident involving those individuals is drug-related and may have been carried out by the cartels in the Chetumal area.
These men were previously wanted?
Yes, again, just to solidify the fact that our northern operations is really holding because of the constant pressure coming through the northern operations. Those individuals who are Belizeans had fled Belize and went to live in Chetumal with a view to avoid the operations. And again, it goes back to what I said before. You sleep with dog, you catch a flea. They went to Chetumal, they are engaged with the cartels.
What
do
do you
police believe that it's linked to the Raheem Usher situation?
No, we believe that it is separate incident. As I said before, we are certain to some extent that Raheem Usher was killed by locals. And again, I can say to you that we have good information in terms of who those locals are.
But sir, the bodies were found in a similar matter,
with the
wrapped
sign
up
as well.
on a sign as well.
If you're trying to mimic something, what will you do?
Yeah, but they did it first.
If you're trying to mimic, we have seen many cartels killing. There's another person of interest that we're looking for, one Joshua Hall. He, from what we understand, was along with that group, but he was able to escape. And from what we are getting is that he's back in Belize and we are looking for him. We do have a bench warrant for his arrest. So once he's found, then he'll be taken into custody.
The suspects that you talk about in the Raheem Usher case, do you believe they're in Belize or do you think they skipped the border?
Well, 2 of them we believe are dead.
Okay.
Okay.
So it is kind of connected in a way. If you believe that these 2 men were killed, Raheem.
Doesn't mean that they're connected, no.
Over the weekend, a Benque resident, Kieran Gonzalez, posted on Facebook that police entered his yard when he was not at home and killed his dog. Gonzalez claimed that the police then took the body of the dog with them. He claimed they were hiding the evidence. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams today told the media that Gonzalez's account is not accurate. Williams said police had responded to a call of a domestic dispute. Williams said that Gonzalez fled the residence when police arrived. He said when police entered the yard, they were attacked by the dog and were forced to shoot the dog to defend themselves. He said that the police took the dog to the vet and at the request of Gonzalez's common-law wife, but the dog later died.
The police had received a call of a domestic issue at that house, and police responded as they would normally do. Domestic situations are not things that we take very lightly because we can see where it can go from 0 to 100 in a matter of seconds. And so when we do get these calls, we take them very seriously. And so the police went there to check into that complaint, and upon the police arrival, the young man who was the subject of the complaint, he ran. Police entered the yard, and upon entering the yard, apparently the dog was on a veranda sealed. The veranda was sealed off, but the dog was able to get away from the veranda and attack the police. And the police had no other choice but to shoot the dog. Having shot the dog, the young lady, who is the common law of the young man, requested of the police to assist her in getting the dog from the house to take the dog to a vet. Because the dog was still alive, the dog was not dead at that particular time. And so the police, again, out of generosity, assisted her in moving the dog from there to another house where she resides. Then she would have taken the dog to the vet. But it so turned out that the dog ended up dying sometime around 8 a.m. yesterday morning. The young man in question, apparently he arrived at home after having escaped or fleeing the police, and he found out what happened. At the same time, the corporal who was in charge of the Benke station at that particular time visited the house to have see if he was there, and two, to explain to them what had transpired. But when the corporal got there, he was met with a great degree of hostility from the young man and his brother, who, as you can see in the video, stood at the gate with machetes, shouting and insulting the police in the most derogative manner.
Williams said that Gonzalez and his brother will be charged. He said that police can be insulted and obstructed from carrying out their duties.
Having seen the video, I sent the video to the Western Regional Commander with instructions that they are to go and find that young man and his brother and take them into custody so that they can be dealt with. So when you hear them say that they came back with 3 vehicle loads of police, I sent them there to pick him up. And it is only right. We can't have situations where people are openly insulting the police, obstructing the police from carrying out their duties, and we just leave it at that. It is going to send a wrong signal to the public. Well, they'll be charged with insulting the police and aggravated assault.
And had there been other domestic reports from that home before?
Well, I believe so, and if a matter of fact, there is also from the common law wife that the young man also stole her phone during the same domestic issue. So we're also looking at a charge of theft for him.
Williams said that he will not create a dog policy for the police and explained why.
People have different reaction to dogs. I, for one, I don't like dogs. If I am around a dog, I am always fearful that the dog is going to attack me. That's just me. Other people are different. They may be more open and more receptive to dogs. So it may have a lot to do with how the individual officers feel about the dogs. And again, if it is that you have a dog in your surroundings and that dog appeared to be aggressive or is aggressing you, if you're a person who have a phobia for dogs, you will react in a certain way likewise. So I really and truly could understand where you're coming from. That could and could not be the case.
Shouldn't there be then in that case some type of training of like, okay, you're going to a yard, a dog starts barking, what do you do? Like, a policy, like, do you wait, do you step out, what do you do? I
can't create a dog policy, and I'm not going to say to police officers, if you go into a yard and a dog starts barking, that you step out. Stepping out is retreating, and there may be situations that will not require officers to retreat, because if you retreat, whatever is there can be gone. And also in retreating, you open yourself to be attacked by the owners of the yards or persons who may be in the yard. So I'm not going to do that now.
Last night after 11, Belize police received intelligence of an aircraft from South America flying near Belize's airspace. It is believed that between 3 and 4 this morning, the aircraft landed somewhere near the western border in the south of the country. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told the media this morning that it was a small jet that landed in rugged terrain. Williams said that according to preliminary investigations, the plane landed intact but was then deliberately burnt. No cargo was found.
Yesterday evening or last night, sometime after 11 p.m., a illicit truck was declared leaving South America coming our way. as we normally would do in these instances, we would coordinate through JAYAC in ensuring that we deploy personnel in different areas that we suspect the plane may likely go and land. We monitor the track until it enters our airspace sometime after 2 this morning, and it disappeared about 2 miles away from the Belize Guatemalan border in the south. Our counterparts have indicated to us that the plane landed in Belizean territory near the border with Guatemala in some extremely rugged terrain. And so the BDF did a flyover with the aircraft, and we also send in a jet team comprising of police and BDF to the location. And a few minutes ago, they were able to locate the plane in Belizean territory, just as was indicated to us near the Guatemalan border. So it's a jet, and it has been destroyed by fire.
Okay, so no cargo whatsoever?
No cargo was found on the plane, no.
And what about a makeshift airstrip, anything like that?
Yes, an airstrip is there that the plane landed on. From all indications from the team on the ground is that the plane landed well, was not damaged during landing, but after landing it was pulled on the side and burnt.
Roughly what time would you say it landed?
It landed this morning sometime between 3 and 4.
The lifeless body of a man was discovered in a pond area in Lords Bank, Belize District on Sunday. The man has been identified as Herbin Bands. ACP Hilberto Romero told the media today that Bands attempted to steal a motorcycle on Saturday morning. When police responded, Bands then fled into the pond area and swam away. His body was later discovered.
Sunday, police responded to the discovery of a body at a pond in Lawrence Bank. Upon arrival, they saw the lifeless body of a male person identified as Herbin Bands of Lawrence Bank. Information is that Saturday morning, Bands attempted to steal a motorcycle from the area. When the owner came out, he ran towards the pond areas. The police was called, the police responded, then he continued to swim through the ponds. Then he was reported missing, and on Sunday his body was found.
Do you know if he was intoxicated?
The information we got is that yes, he was at a nightclub the night when he went and tampered with a motorcycle.
So no foul play?
We are currently on investigation, but the body had no injuries.
After the break, footage of a Belize City Councilor involved in a street fight goes viral. Stay with us. On Saturday, footage began to circulate on social media of first-time Belize City Councilor Evan Boo Boo Thompson wearing a brown shirt getting caught in a physical confrontation with another man in Belize City at the entertainment strip in front of Shisha Lounge. People are seen trying to part both men. Today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams said those involved would be charged.
I already sent that matter to Mr. Romero, and he's here with instructions that those persons involved must be picked up and charged.
They will be charged for disorderly conduct?
Yes, as we normally do. We just need to do what needs to be done. I think that once we constantly arrest those involved, it sends a message to other persons that if you do the same, you'll end up in the same situation. So important is for us to make sure we deal with those persons who get involved in these fights.
Today, Thompson issued a release where he addressed the issue. According to Thompson, he was acting in self-defense and said he was given the opportunity to press charges but chose not to do so. Still, he apologized for the incident and said that this does not reflect the Belize City Council nor the People's United Party. As we have reported, our colleague from Plus TV in Belmopan, journalist Louis L.J. Wade III, was aggressed by police last Thursday in Belmopan while he was on the scene covering the drowning incident of two young men. Wade had initially decided he would not press charges, but has since changed his mind. Today, he spoke of the incident to the media. Wade said he believes the police officers were concerned that the video showed them not using proper protocol while transporting the bodies.
I took back my phone from him, tell him I could record here. I'm a journalist, and even if I wasn't a journalist, civilians have the right to record. Took my phone back from me again, telling me that he'll charge me with obstruction of justice because I'm stopping them from doing their job. I tell him I need no obstruction of justice. Please explain the charges to me. He never answered me. They continued to walk me towards the mobile, pushing me in my back while they did walk me. So at that point, I'm trying to reach for my phone again to record what they're doing to me. The guy took my phone from me again and told me that I'm not allowed to use my phone because I officially detained and I can't use my phone. Take my phone again from here and tell them, well, if I'm detained, I could at least get a phone call or something like that to tell someone that I'm about to be detained if that's what you're going to do. So he said, no, I can't do that. He told me that I'm not allowed to be in this area where the crime is happening, but I'm explaining to him that there's no yellow tape here, so you can't tell me where to be. And even if that was the case, the crime scene is by the river. We're not by the river, we're by the entrance, the exit of Guanacaste. So, they continued to march me towards the mobile. They threw me up against the side of the vehicle. And at that point, I turned around what? What are the dobro? I know they try aggression or anything like that. And the guy was shouting at me, telling me I won't be allowed to leave until I delete the video. And I said, well, I know they delete the video. So, I don't know what happened. And then he asked me my name, and at that point, I guess that was the first time I could have formally introduced myself. I said, I'm Louis Wade, work Plus TV, journalist, and he looked at me up and down for 20 seconds and said, let the man go.
On Friday, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams reiterated that the public can film police officers on duty. When the Hague Group was launched at the end of January this year, Belize was prominently displayed among the 9 founding member countries. However, if you search the group now, you will find that Belize's name no longer appears on the list. Asked if Belize has withdrawn and is tempering its pro-Palestine support in the face of U.S. President Trump's move to punish South Africa, seemingly for its activism in support of Palestine, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Francis Fonseca, said the matter is under review by Cabinet. The Prime Minister, John Briceño, said that while Belize maintains its support for Palestine, Belize has to be realistic about what is happening on the world stage.
I think we need to take a look at Belize's stand when it comes to Palestine. we have gone beyond the call of duty, standing up for what is right. That when we decided that we want to put on pause the diplomatic relations with um, Israel, we were hoping that then members in CARICOM and the Central America would have joined us. Nobody did. We went and joined the South Africa case, and again hoping that others would join us, and nobody has done. As a small country, we also, whilst um, our principles never change, our principles never waver, we also have to take a realistic look at what is happening around us. We continue to support Palestine, we will fight for Palestine, and so that is our position at this time.
The Justice for Humans Project, whose managing partner is attorney Michelle Trapp, has written the Belize Bar Association to ask for support in its advocacy for the state to allow eligible inmates to vote. Those would be inmates serving a sentence of no more than 12 months and all persons on remand. The Elections and Boundaries Commission has said it is reviewing the request. The project sought the view of a former inmate who was on remand during an election.
I feel bad because I'm class of vote to feel like nobody one another incarcerated, and I hope people vote and do the right thing. Then everybody will debate on the election, and a lot of people that say, "Well, we should have could have vote." And should have could have we still can't do it because we're incarcerated. A good thing that she fight for the prisoners now, especially those on remand, because they one day still not gonna fit. It makes sense. The one we're incarcerated, we're done at the time. Well, I understand that nearly the time, right? But for those where they're on remand, like back in then, me kind of feel kind of way out to men. Because you want to vote, but you don't know you can't vote. So everybody just up on guessing like who will win, the PUP, the UDP, and you hear things from different people from all different sides of the country, where which minister they do what, and which party leader they help out, which one good it is, eh? So we know from our region, I believe, like parts, different parts, who really did put in the work for the people, right?
When asked, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams shared his personal opinion that he is not in support of eligible inmates being allowed to vote. At the same time, he made it clear that it is elections officials who determine where polling stations will go, and it is the police's obligation to provide security.
My honest opinion, I don't believe in it. My honest opinion.
Yeah. So
that's just me. But if the powers that be decide that that is going to be the case, then we will fall in line and do what needs to be done to ensure that we provide these policing services to keep the polling station peaceful, yes.
But sir, as an enforcer of the law, we spoke to the attorney, Mr. Trapp, advocating for it, and he says that it's already within the law for this to happen. What is required is enforcement. The police department is part of that enforcement.
No, when it comes to the issue of the conducting of elections, that is the duty of the Elections and Boundaries Commission. We are not the ones who decide where polling station goes. Once the Election and Boundary Commission say that we want a polling station here, or we're going to put one here, then the police must fall in line in making sure that we police that polling station.
After the break, Elections and Boundaries Department reminds the general public of Election Day offenses.
On Wednesday, 12th March 2025.
of 2025. Social Security at your fingertips.
Boston 25 News reported on Saturday that the Massachusetts Chief Medical Examiner's Office is expected to conduct autopsies on the bodies of the 3 U.S. nationals of Moroccan descent who were found dead in Belize Resort on Ambergris Caye on February 22nd. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told Creme News XTV he is unsure of the date for the second autopsies, but said he is aware that it is the intent. Forensic authorities in Belize determined the 3 women died from acute pulmonary edema, which means there was excess water in the lungs. However, what caused it has not yet been determined. Toxicology results are pending. The mayor of the city of Revere, Patrick M. Keefe Jr., has said they will exhaust all avenues, both domestic and foreign, to ensure a proper and fair analysis of this case. The Elections and Boundaries Department today reminded the general public of Election Day offenses that will be enforced on March 12. There will be a restriction on the sale of intoxicating liquor on Election Day. Any holder of a liquor license, hotel license, special hotel license, or restaurant license shall not sell intoxicating liquor until midnight. Establishments that serve only to sell intoxicating liquor shall be closed on that day. If caught violating this restriction, the offense is punishable with a fine not exceeding $2,000 or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months. Employers are to allow employees a reasonable time to vote without receiving any deductions from their salary or receiving any other penalty. If any employer refuses to grant employees time to vote or intimidate them in any way, they shall be subjected to a fine not exceeding $2,000 or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 1 year. There shall be no loudspeakers, and there shall be no disruptions of banners, political flags, or any material that can be seen as trying to influence the vote of others. All officers working at polling stations shall maintain and aid in maintaining secrecy of the voting at such stations. There will also be a prohibition of the use of cell phones and the taking of photos inside polling stations. Finally, no civilian in any public space within 100 yards of any polling station shall carry, discharge, or use any firearm or ammunition. In a letter dated February 28, Will Mejia, the leader of the People's National Party, PNP, who is running in the Toledo East Division against the PUP's Osman Martinez, asked the Elections and Boundaries Department to address concerns about the arrangement for polling stations in the division. Mejia points out that as things currently stand, not everyone has reasonable access to polling stations, and he is asking for adjustments. Among the changes is for Santana residents to be allowed to vote at the Barranco Village polling station rather than having to travel all the way to Cattle Landing. In the case of Boom Creek voters, Mejia says they should be allowed to vote at the Catholic school in Punta Gorda. He writes, quote, "The current arrangements have them passing 3 polling stations to reach their designated station," end quote. When it comes to Dolores and Otosha, Mejia is asking for the polling station for both villages to be placed in Dolores instead, as it has a larger population. And for the past few years, Shauna Morelli has been our animal care specialist, educating our viewers and listeners on topics such as spay and neuter, animal adoption, animal cruelty, firework safety, and the struggle of humane societies across the country. For 8 years, Shauna Morelli has been the president and treasurer of the Cayo Animal Welfare Society cause, but she has been so much more to the volunteers she works with, and especially to the animals of the San Ignacio community and surrounding areas. Her chapter in Belize has come to an end as she will be relocating at Canada. Morelli emotionally told Creme News XTV that it will be hard to leave.
I've been with Cause since early 2017, so almost 8 years now. Been running it for most of that time. It's been a mixture for sure. I'll probably get emotional. It hasn't been easy. There's been a lot of things that I've had to deal with that have been heartbreaking. But I also recognize that there has been a difference made. I certainly see it in the attitudes of the owners and the communities. It's really hard to leave. I just would like to thank all of our supporters, our donors, people who attend the clinics. It's been my honor for the last 8 years to do this, and I'll miss everyone.
The spay and neuter clinics were always something Morelli was passionate about, and she wants those to be her legacy in Cayo. She said that those clinics will be continued to be organized even in her absence, with the next one already in the planning stages. She said they have already found a new president and other people who will volunteer with other duties.
We have found someone that has stepped up. It's her name is Rachel Forrest. She has been a volunteer for us for I think 4.5 years or something like that. She's typically been in the background, really assisting us with fundraising and getting internationally raised money into the country with PayPal and stuff like that. But she's agreed to take on the legal ownership and the stuff that needs to be done to keep the company and the NPO legal entity and above board with corporate filings and the annual NPO filings and things like that. So that's amazing. The hardest part about that is dealing with the BC Corporate Records Office and all the things that need to get done there. And then a friend of mine has offered to take on the organization of the major clinic for next year. So that's already in planning stages, early planning stages. So that's great. And then I have some regular volunteers that help on our inbox and things like that, and they're going to keep the ongoing spay and neuter program running. And of course, Rachel's going to take over the banking and stuff too, so we can make sure bills get paid for that. So I'm thrilled that will keep enduring after I go.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. A repeat can be viewed on the station later tonight at 9 and again Tuesday at midday. Join us again Tuesday at 6 p.m. for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.